G'day. Today we are actually gonna continue the theory on scattershot from an early hand cannon, or handgun, if you prefer the proper term. All I've loaded it with is 75 grains of powder. No, this one was 80 grains of powder, and just a handful of 177 cal lead, specifically lead. It was very hard to find. BB gun shot. The whole idea is just seeing what different round shot will do versus the drop shot we were trying before. So let's get into it. We're going to be trying the 53 caliber first, then we'll move on to 65 caliber. Something else compared to what we'll be doing from before, instead of going up after each shot, I'm just going to be taking 3 shots from each hand cannon and seeing what kind of damage after, once we get all 3 shots from each gun. So, going to get a reload done, then take our next 2 shots and see what kind of damage we have. So this one was a wash. Believe it or not, those 3 shots were not the only ones I took. I took probably about a dozen tries, and all I'm seeing is just one little hole from the entry of a BB on the arm sleeve. I flipped the Gambeson, so it's going to look like it was on this arm, when really it's the right arm. Sorry, very tired. It's a bit of a wash, mainly because of the length of the barrel. This barrel is probably only about 5 or 6 inches long, and then when you pack the powder in, and then the BBs, you're only getting about 3 to 4 inches for the shot area. So it's going to be spreading way out almost immediately. However, with that single shot, I got an idea of what kind of damage it can do to Gambeson for something like this. It broke through the first layer of canvas and got caught in the batting. It didn't break through the second layer, so the Gambeson won out in this test for the 53 caliber. So we're going to move up to the 65 caliber, going to load it with the maximum amount of grainage that I can get on my measure, which I believe is 100. If it's more, I will be sure to let you know when I'm bringing that one out. All it is that I'm loading for shot is just a small handful of those BBs, and just dropping it in. I am not measuring. I am not trying to weigh, because this actually would not have even been consistent for the time. With the way they would have gotten such a shot would be a lead siphon drop, where basically it looks like a small funnel to drop a limited size of hot molten lead down through the bottom of the funnel and drop in water to immediately cool it. They would look a little bit like teardrops, but for the most part, you'd be able to control the size by the droppage and load it in that way. They'd not be nearly as effective as what I'm firing here because of the lack of perfect roundness. However, I'm getting as close as I can for the project. I wasn't able to figure out how to effectively do the siphon. Sadly, I cannot figure out how to create the siphon. When I did try, my lead kept cooling a little too quickly. I'm wondering if what I was reading might have been based on fiction and not actual fact. I'm going to be rereading through those notes that I found. If I find any more evidence for it, I will be sure to post down in the description a link to it. If otherwise, you can take it as just conjecture and theory. Either way, I started this channel to actually test theory more than fact, because if it's only fact, then obviously everyone knows. My idea is just what if. So let's see what we get with the 65 caliber. Be right back. All right, we're back with the 65 cal. 120 grain, not 100. Another handful of BBs, a little bit more than I did for the short barrel 53 cal. We'll see what kind of damage we can do. Part of the reason why I had to cut the test on the other one short is I am running low on slow fuse, and until my saltpeter comes, I'm not able to make the match cord fuse for actually touching the powder off. Because traditionally, instead of a fuse, there would actually just be a touch hole where you have your smoldering cord or smoldering match cord, where the second man of your fire team would be touching it off so that it can fire. I don't have that yet. That's why I've been having to use fuses, and I'm running low on fuses. So let's get into it. We're going to take our first shot and see what kind of damage we do. I'm going to try to stand a little bit closer than I did on the last ones. And if I'm hitting consistently, I'll work my way a little bit back to see what kind of range we can get. So this is the back of the Gambeson. The big holes you see are from the 65 caliber ball test when those were punching right through. For the most part though, all these little holes are all fresh. So we're not going to be mixed up from when we were doing the other shot tests. So you can see there was quite a bit of penetration. The downside is because of how many holes were in the front, we're not going to be able to quite tell which holes were penetrating all the way through. One of those holes was from the very first test we did. And it looks like there's 2 BBs. No, that's a nail, so that's an old one. This one I know is fresh, and that does feel like a BB, so it did try to punch through the other side. It's going to be hard to actually tell though, sadly. But we're going to take a look on the inside here in the shop in just a second. You can see where some of the BBs were getting stuck in the wood. Those are 2 screw holes. That's a BB. I can sort of see it in there. It's a little too dark for the camera to pick up. All right, so we're going to get this inside and take a look at what we can find. Alrighty. So from what we can see, you probably can't see it very well from the camera, but I'm seeing quite a few hits here. Oh, here's one where the BB got actually just stuck on the canvas. We'll set that aside for now. I'm seeing quite a few hits. This arm, I know for certain, this shot right here, because it was in the bottom of the arm that it got hit, was from the short barrel, 53 caliber, and I can feel the BB is still stuck in the batting there, so it didn't punch through. BB there. That one looks like it might be that one that went all the way through. Yep. That is a nail. That is a nail. Those are old shots. This one is a BB. Can't quite get it out. All right, so let's actually just open this up and see what kind of damage we have. And oh boy. So it looks like for the most part, nothing actually went all the way through. Unless it may have been in a pre-existing hole from the large shots that we got before. This one I know. Yeah. This is an old one. Or new one, excuse me. Everywhere you see the batting poking out, that's where a BB has gone through. That one, there's no BB. BB, BB. No BB, no BB. Nothing, nothing, nothing. All right, so from what all I'm seeing here, there is 1, 2, 3. No, not 3. I know there were... Huh. Alrighty, so just 2 of them, the BB got stuck in the batting. This one, yep, that's a BB there. Didn't go all the way through. Some of these holes, oh, looky here. So that batting poking out on the front tells me that the BB went all the way through and ripped through the batting as well. So that one, likely hanging up, I think was either this one or that one. There's a BB stuck right there, so that batting that's poking out got blasted out, or actually it probably got towed in through this one here, because that's a round ball in there. There's a BB there. Alrighty, so out of all those shots, it looks like only one or two went all the way through all 4 layers of canvas and both layers of batting. For the most part, though, once again, the Gambeson wins out against the pellet shot this time. From both guns, doesn't look like it had much in the way of damage to the Gambeson. Looking at the armor, the stand itself, I'm only seeing the holes from what we saw before, so likely, what do we got here? Another BB. Likely, anything that would have gone through the Gambeson and into the stand itself was stopped by the Gambeson, so I don't see any damage on the wood. The shots that went all the way through, they may have been wounding shots, such as this one, and the one up in the arm over here. They may have been wounding shots and likely gotten caught in the flesh itself, but it's not debilitating. Long term, it might have caused infection and possibly ended his life. But for now, it looks like, once again, the Gambeson is actually proving pretty effective against the lighter shots that we've put against it with the hand cannons, or handguns. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments, and if there's another test you'd like to see, let me know. We'll see if we can actually try it. For now, that will be it.